When does a basketball game cease to be a pure contest of skill, strategy, and athletic prowess, and instead devolve into a bewildering, infuriating spectacle of whistles, free throws, and a scoreboard that feels less like a reflection of play and more like a cruel statistical anomaly? This isn't just a rhetorical question, it's the raw, seething frustration currently echoing through the Sacramento Kings locker room, a sentiment born from a recent clash against the Los Angeles Lakers that left players and coaches alike questioning the very fabric of fair play. Can you truly win when the rules seem to be bent, stretched, and ultimately broken, all in favor of one team and one player alone? The date was October 26th, a night that will undoubtedly be etched into the collective memory of the Sacramento Kings, though perhaps not for the reasons they would have hoped. It was a night that saw the Los Angeles Lakers, a team ostensibly hobbled by the absence of their two biggest stars, LeBron James and Luka Doncic, pull off a victory that felt less like a triumph of teamwork and more like a singular, almost mythical performance. Stepping into the colossal void left by the injured superstars was Austin Reeves, a player who, by all accounts, is having a truly remarkable season. But on this particular evening, Reeves didn't just have a good game. He had a transcendent one, a dominating, awe-inspiring display that single-handedly carried the Lakers. Reeves took it to the Sacramento Kings with a ferocity and efficiency that bordered on the unbelievable. He poured in a personal best 51 points, a scoring explosion that left defenders grasping at air and fans in disbelief. But his impact wasn't limited to scoring. He was everywhere, stuffing the stat sheet with an equally impressive 11 rebounds, 9 assists, and 2 steals. He was just 1 assist shy of a triple-double, a testament to his all-around brilliance and his ability to impact every facet of the game. It was precisely the kind of heroic performance the Lakers desperately needed, a beacon of individual excellence shining brightly in the absence of their marquee names. Reeves was an offensive juggernaut, a relentless attacker who seemed to find a way to the basket and subsequently to the free throw line at will. His performance was a masterclass in exploiting matchups, driving with purpose, and finishing through contact, or at least drawing the whistle. And it is precisely that last point, the whistles, the free throws, where the Kings' concerns transcend mere frustration and venture into the realm of profound indignation. The numbers, stark and unforgiving, tell a story that is almost impossible to reconcile with the concept of a balanced contest. In a game where the Kings managed a paltry 18 free throw attempts, the Lakers were awarded a staggering 46. Let that sink in for a moment. 46 free throws for one team, less than half that for the other. This wasn't a slight disparity, it was a chasm, a canyon-sized gap that fundamentally altered the flow, rhythm, and outcome of the game. But the statistical absurdity doesn't end there. Austin Reeves, the Lakers' undisputed hero of the night, personally shot 22 free throws, sinking an astonishing 21 of them. To put that into perspective, Reeves, a single player, took more free throws than the entire Sacramento Kings roster combined in that game. It's a statistic that defies belief, a number that screams of an imbalance, so profound it borders on the surreal. How can a team, any team, hope to compete, to maintain momentum, to execute their game plan, when the opposing team is consistently gifted opportunities to stop the clock, reset their offense, and rack up uncontested points from the charity stripe? The answer for the Kings was a resounding and bitter "you can't." The raw, visceral frustration emanating from the Kings' locker room after the game was palpable, a tempest of anger and disbelief. DeMar DeRozan, one of the Kings' veteran leaders, was so utterly infuriated by these numbers that he actually walked out of his post-game press conference, a silent yet thunderous protest that spoke volumes. His actions, more than any words, conveyed a clear message. The officiating in his eyes had rendered the game unplayable, making it impossible for his team to compete fairly. Head coach Doug Christie, usually a picture of composure, was equally annoyed by the differential, his voice laced with exasperation, as he discussed the sheer impossibility of winning games with that kind of disparity. Their reactions weren't just about losing, they were about a perceived injustice, a feeling that the game had been taken out of their hands by external forces. And here is where the narrative becomes a complex double-edged sword. Because while the Kings' outrage is undeniably justified, their own performance also played a significant, undeniable role in their undoing. No one, not even the most ardent Lakers fan, is going to argue with a straight face that something wasn't off in the officiating. The referees did indeed seem to be harder on the Kings with their calls, exhibiting a distinct lack of consistency that favored the home team. Austin Reeves, in particular, appeared to receive the benefit of the doubt on a multitude of calls, some of which, upon closer inspection, simply shouldn't have gone his way. There were phantom touches, exaggerated contact, and a general leniency afforded to Reeves that was conspicuously absent when Kings players drove to the basket. This created a maddening cycle. The Kings would commit a seemingly innocuous foul, sending the Lakers to the line, while their own aggressive drives were often met with silence from the whistle. However, this undeniable officiating bias does not and cannot completely absolve the Kings of their own culpability. The cold, hard truth is that the Kings were playing bad basketball for the first half of the game. They were plagued by a litany of self-inflicted wounds, turning the ball over with alarming frequency, committing a series of dumb, unnecessary fouls, and generally failing to play tight, efficient basketball. These weren't marginal mistakes. They were fundamental breakdowns in discipline and execution that gifted the Lakers easy opportunities, regardless of the officiating. When you play sloppy, undisciplined basketball, you invite the referees to make calls, and sometimes those calls don't go your way. The Kings, in their early game malaise, were essentially handing the Lakers ammunition, and the officials, whether consciously or subconsciously, were more than willing to load the gun. Yet, despite their self-sabotage and the egregious free throw disparity, a testament to their underlying talent and resilience, the Kings were still in the game until the very end. This is perhaps the most frustrating aspect for their fan base. They had opportunities even in the face of overwhelming odds. In the fourth quarter, the Kings finally started to tighten their gameplay up a bit. They showed flashes of the disciplined, aggressive basketball they are capable of playing. They were moving the ball better, defending with more intensity, and making smarter decisions. But by that point, it was too late. Reeves, fueled by his earlier success and the consistent trips to the line, was already an absolute runaway juggernaut, an unstoppable force of nature. There was no reining him in, no defensive scheme that could contain his relentless attack. Once again, the Kings found themselves victims, not just of questionable officiating, but of their own lack of consistent disciplined defense, particularly against a player who had clearly found his rhythm and was operating with supreme confidence. Ultimately, both DeMar DeRozan and Coach Doug Christie are right about the foul calls being off and the sheer volume of 46 free throws for the Lakers making it virtually impossible for the Kings to get anything going. It's a legitimate grievance, a statistical anomaly that demands scrutiny. At the same time, however, you cannot act surprised when your team plays sloppy, undisciplined basketball and pays the price for it. The Kings contributed to their own demise through turnovers and unnecessary fouls, creating a narrative where the officiating, while undeniably skewed, was amplified by their own self-inflicted wounds. It's a bitter pill to swallow, a harsh lesson in the interconnectedness of internal performance and external factors. This game serves as a stark reminder that in the high-stakes world of professional basketball, victory is rarely a simple equation. It's a complex interplay of individual brilliance, team execution, and yes, the often unpredictable human element of officiating. The Kings witnessed a truly dominant individual performance from Austin Reeves, a player who rose to the occasion in the absence of superstars. They also endured an officiating display that felt profoundly unbalanced, creating a free throw disparity that was both statistically shocking and emotionally infuriating. But they must also look inward, acknowledge their own early game sloppiness, and understand that even the most egregious external factors can be exacerbated by internal failings. The path forward for Sacramento isn't just about hoping for fairer whistles. It's about playing with the kind of consistent discipline and defensive intensity that leaves no room for doubt, no opportunity for external forces to dictate their destiny. So, Kings fans, what's your take on this infuriating loss? Was the free throw disparity the sole reason for the defeat, Or did the Kings' own sloppy play seal their fate? We want to hear your passionate arguments, your frustrations, and your insights in the comments below. Let's dissect this controversial game together. And if you're as invested in the future of the Sacramento Kings as we are, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for all the latest breaking news and in-depth analysis. Do you believe that a team's own disciplined play can truly overcome such a significant free throw disparity? Or is it an insurmountable obstacle?